Hi guys, it's Alex. Welcome back to my channel. So glad that you can be here. I'm really excited for this video because this is the first one where I'm going to be properly talking to you about exactly what's going on with my work in progress. So as you can probably tell from the title of this video, today we're going to be talking about endings because I'm so excited. I finally managed to break through what feels like the final hurdle, but realistically it's going to be one of many. But I've finally begun to map out the ending to my story. If any of you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll know that this has been a bit of a challenge for me over the past couple of weeks. So I'm quite a fast drafter. You know, the book started during NaNoWriMo, which is where you're trying to write something like 1,600 words per day. So I have no problem writing quickly, and when I started the story I had such a clear idea of where I wanted to go, and I wasn't so worried about word count, and I was just like putting it all out there and it was coming really naturally. But as I got closer to the end and my word count was getting higher and higher, I started to be aware that I needed to make sure that this wasn't dragging, that every scene had real purpose. Oh, I've just seen a mosquito in the room. But anyway, I was hitting a real wall with the last few chapters, and I kept trying to plot out the ending the way I wanted it to be, and none of them were really gelling. You know, the characters weren't staying true to themselves. I was almost in such a rush to come up with an ending that it wasn't going to satisfy anybody. If it wasn't satisfying me even in the draft stages, there was no way any reader was going to buy into their story. So I was having a lot of problems with it, and if I'm completely honest, last week's video might actually have been kind of the product of writer's block. Now, I know there is a lot of advice out there that says that whenever a writer hits a dry spell or is suffering from writer's block, that the only thing to do is to keep on writing, don't give in to excuses, and to plough on through. And I completely agree in principle, but I've had a couple of instances where I was almost getting too close to the story. It was like I was putting on my blinkers and I could only see exactly what I was writing, and I'd maybe have this one idea that I had to get in there, but it wasn't gelling, and actually I felt like anything that I wrote was just going to end up damaging the story. And yes, there are plenty of people that say, oh yeah, I just write a first draft and then I go back and hack it to pieces and basically write again, but that really isn't my style. If I write a scene, it needs to have a purpose and it needs to fit in with the rest of the story. It's just the way that I work. So with the ending, I knew that I couldn't just fly by the seat of my pants and start writing anything, because fundamentally each scene in the build up towards the end was going to be extremely important. So it became more important than ever that actually every scene was well thought out, and that was proving to be a real problem for me. I think it was ending up really crippling my ability to come up with a good ending. Plus I have the additional problem wherein my intention, it wasn't my intention when I started, but now I just have so much going on in my brain. I really want this to be a series, if at all possible. My first novel needs to be able to stand on its own. I cannot have some drastic cliffhanger, which is going to mean that any publisher, you know, they wouldn't take a book that has a cliffhanger on when they have no idea how your book is going to perform. So knowing that I had all of these other storyline threads that I wasn't planning on tying up because I knew what I wanted to happen, plus being able to make the book stand on its own and satisfy all the readers, was just proving to be such a nightmare. Made even more complicated by the fact that I'm doing dual perspectives, and while one character's storyline could get quite neatly tied up, the others, I was really struggling to think of a way to not close their story off completely and also still satisfy someone that's only ever going to read the first book. And no publisher is going to touch a manuscript that has a dramatic cliffhanger because they don't know if your book's going to sell, so they're not going to risk it. And as I mentioned in my previous video, my goal is to be traditionally published, so I really do need to kind of play by the rules, unfortunately. So those are all the problems that I was having, and it was proving to be a pretty tough couple of weeks, but I've literally just outlined what I believe to be the final 7 chapters, which, on the principle that most of my chapters on average are about 2,000 words, means I just have 14,000 words left and my book is done. I mentioned in my last video that I don't really believe that I'm in a position to offer tons of advice, but I have to say that I am somebody that lives on YouTube and watches so many different tutorials and videos from other writers and their experiences. And there are a couple of videos that I watched last week that really helped me, you know, just loosen the bricks that were blocking up my creative juices last week. So I'm going to link those down below to a couple of writers that were really helping me out. So that's everything that I've got for you guys today. If any of you guys are experiencing something similar, please do let me know. I love hearing from all of you. So yeah, and thanks so much to all of you who have already subscribed. If you haven't, please subscribe and like this video because it makes me happy. I hope you guys have a good week. Take care. Bye.